Awesome. Okay, great. So I'll get this started. Thank you, everybody, for joining the Landscape Operational and Accounting Systems webinar that we have going on today. Scott and Katie Molchan are joining me from the $1 Million Academy. They are well-versed in the operational side of landscape businesses and help out landscapers with that side of their business every day and do a great job at it. And, me, Carly Niguez, CEO of Cycle CPA, we do anything from bookkeeping to CFO level services, and we are specializing in the landscape industry. Awesome. So we have some great things in this webinar today. So let's get started here. And just a quick note, if you want to ask any questions, please use the chat option. We will be answering questions at the end of this.
Okay, if this is everybody's first time seeing Scott and I, we are Scott and Katie Molchan with $1 Million Landscaper, like Carla said. We have our $1 Million Academy. That's where we have courses and a networking system for landscaping business owners. And then we have our $1 Million Landscaper podcast as well. Yep. So a lot of people maybe have heard us from there. And we just want to say a quick thanks to Carla real quick for having us on here tonight, because who doesn't want to talk about, landscape and operational systems? This is a hot topic.
It is. So, it is.
So we're happy that you guys all took the time out of your evening to join us for this tonight.
All right, so we'll get started here. So hard work doesn't equal success. Sorry, let me change the slide here. All right, so hard work doesn't equal success. We're all taught that we just work hard, sell more jobs, keep hustling, keep working, we'll be successful. And we're here today to break it to you that this isn't necessarily true. And we're not trying to rain on your parade we just want to save you from a lot of heartache, a lot of stress. We were taught this our entire lives. That's just literally was our business model for years. That's just what we did. We worked hard, sold more jobs, worked 6, sometimes 7 days a week. Our customers loved our work. We were great landscapers, and we didn't really have much in the bank to show for it. That was a little embarrassing.
Yeah. Does this sound like any of you, or how many people do you know that are awesome landscapers and are busting butt every day and working hard all the time, but they're just not making the money that they should be? It's all too common in the landscaping industry. And we really hate it, because I always say that landscapers work way too hard to be broke. So, and for us, it wasn't until we hired a business consultant that we realized that our problems were not because we weren't working hard enough. And our problems weren't because we weren't selling enough work. We were completely and totally winning at the landscaping game. But what we were failing at was the running a business part. It was the business end of things that really we were kind of stinking at, because we were suffering from a whole bunch of what I like to call ABT. It's just a bunch of 8 been taught. We just didn't know how to run a business. We didn't know how. And this really kind of came to a head one afternoon. I was pregnant with our second son, and I left work early, and I don't even remember why I took Scott's plow truck, but I did. I left and I was in Scott's plow truck. So, and I decided to go to the grocery store before I went home, and I pulled into the parking lot and I just started sobbing, because it hit me like a ton of bricks that I was sitting there in the truck that we used to literally make money. And I wasn't sure that I was going to have enough money to go get the groceries I wanted. I was like having that pre-anxiety that my debit card wasn't going to go through. Is anybody familiar with that? Where you're like, you swipe it and you hope it doesn't come back declined. And so it was just really a pitiful moment. I'm like, I cannot sit here in this truck that we used to make money, all big and pregnant, bringing our second child into the world, and being afraid that I don't have enough money to feed my kids. It didn't feel good at all. So that is really what spurred us to take the steps that we needed to take to just kind of get our crap together, get our business organized, get our employees better trained, start really digging into our numbers, into our business, start getting our estimating on point. We really had to kind of overhaul all of that. So, because if you think that we're crazy and that working hard will just automatically give you success, then if you'll take a look up at the slide that we have up here, you'll see in the middle, this is what can happen if you ignore your problems and you just keep working harder and selling more work and hoping that everything's going to fix itself. This is This is an actual like assessment from the consultant we were working with. And what it says there in the middle is in 1 year, we wasted $159,528 in payroll on unproductive time. That means we were paying people, we spent out that much money in payroll in one season. This is one season. Yep. For work that we were not getting any income back for. Like, and we weren't even paying ourselves $159,000, mind you. So we, our productivity was so bad. It was down at like 65%. Because we did 1.3 million in sales that year. That is a good chunk of change. That is a lot of sales. We didn't need to sell more. But that 1.3 million in sales doesn't mean much, doesn't mean anything when you look at how much money that we were wasting just because we did not have our crap together. Because those numbers are from a year when we were still just focused on doing the work. We were just selling more because we're like, we don't have any money. We must just need to work harder. So we just kept selling more work. And yeah, we were paying little to no attention to how we like ran our business. We just knew what we knew how to do, and we knew how to sell work, and we knew how to do work. And so we just kept working. I don't know how many times I can say work. We just kept working. So we're just really here to tell you that that struggle, that working harder, that putting in more hours, all of those things that just lead to burnout and stress. It is a broken strategy. It doesn't work. You can do it for a little while, but it's eventually going to bite you in the butt, exactly how it did to us. So, but we were able to turn it around, and we were able to fix it. We didn't just like yell at our employees. We weren't just like, why are you guys all so lazy? And why is this all terrible? I mean, we were mad for a little bit, but we acted like grownups. We took the responsibility for our part in it. We're like, you know what? This is our business. This is on us. If we own this place and it's running at this low productivity, then this is our fault, and we're going to have to take steps to fix it. So we just really had to kind of let go of that narrative that working hard is going to fix things, and that working hard is going to guarantee success. Because you can't turn things around until you can kind of just let go of that a little bit. So
sorry, one sec. Your slide's not changing.
Oh, I don't know. Scott's having technical difficulties.
There we go.
Oh, is that then? So yep. Anyway, the moral of the story is you have more control over your days and your business than you think. You just kind of have to let go of that old, it seems easy to just let go of an old thought pattern, but it's not. It's ingrained in us. It's hard. Scott still kind of struggles with how he just thinking he just has to work all the time. And so it's really something that's it's a little hard to let go of, but you're going to have to let go of that if you ever want to turn your business around and you want to grow. So one of the key things that we did do to get our business turned around is start implementing systems and procedures, those operational systems and procedures.
Sorry, my mouse keeps disappearing.
Oh, there it is. You have too many screens. You have too many screens. Scott always has too many screens. If you're seeing like, let's look all over the place, it's because he has multiple screens all the time.
All right. There we go. All right. So we're here to talk about system procedures, obviously. So let us know, are you using system procedures in your business? Let us know in the chat. I'd love to see it. And for those that are not, what's your reasons why? We'd love to see why you're not using it.
Yeah, do they just seem too hard? Do you not really know what they are? You don't know how to implement them. You don't know how to even get started, or you don't even know which ones you need.
Yeah, so put it in the chat. I'd love to see what you guys are doing, or if you're using them. Or you start using them and then decided it didn't work for you. Let us know. Because you see, we see systems every single day in everything we do. And sometimes we don't even think about it or see it really. So let's take a look at a simple system such as like a truck, for example. Inside the truck, you have, a steering system, you have a braking system, you have a heating and cooling system, you have a drivetrain system. And you can see there's multiple different systems that make up this one truck. And all these systems have to work together to make this truck drive and move forward or go reverse, whatever it needs to do. But all these systems come together to make this thing work. And sorry, people are popping in. Yep. Not sure what systems are. Okay, good. I'm trying, but I don't know how to implement them. The resistance from field workers. Yes, there's definitely some resistance at first. And we'll kind of get into that later on in some questions.
Yeah, if you have any questions, we can definitely address that. Sure.
I don't know what we need. Okay. Right. We'll address those here in a bit. So like I said, these systems all kind of come together for this truck to make it move forward. And these systems are like the big major items in this truck. Now you can break these systems down to even further smaller items. And these will be kind of like your procedures. So let's take example of the steering system. You have your steering wheel, so you can turn that left or right, and that leads down into a steering box. Inside the steering box, there's gears that make it easier for us to turn, which, drive the steering arms and turns the wheels left or right. And all this has to be done to make sure this procedure works. And this can be done for every single system in your car. Everything kind of get broke down. And the same thing applies to your landscape business. Your business is made up of major systems, and none of those would be like repeatable procedures. So for example, you can have the accounting system, which Carl is awesome at. You have your HR systems, your sales systems. You can have a landscaping system, a lawn maintenance system. And just like the truck, everything has to work together to kind of make it work, your whole business move forward and keep, making profits. And you can break these individual systems down into smaller procedures. So I like to keep things simple. So we have major systems, and then we break it down in smaller, finer things underneath. So let's take an example of the landscaping system. You could have a procedure just on how to plant a plant, how to plant a tree, how to install mulch, how to do a brick patio. Now, some of you might be thinking, that's just silly. Guys should know how to, or girls or whatever, should be able to plant a tree or a shrub. How many of you had somebody go out there and didn't know how to plant a plant? We've had guys go literally grab a flat shovel and try to dig on a hard clay here. It doesn't work.
Yeah, so, even if they came from another landscaping business, sometimes they do weird things because you might think, I hired this person, they work for so-and-so, they probably know a thing or two, but that doesn't mean that they do. Yep. And even what they do know might not be what you want them to be doing. Like Scott said, they'll go grab a flat shovel to dig in clay, and that doesn't work.
Now, for these examples, you're not going to use these procedures out every single time for your team. You're going to use these procedures to help train your team. So when you have a new person come on, you're going to use these procedures out in the field, for first few times until they kind of get the grasp of things. And then from there, you're going to have checklists that go underneath that they can kind of just skim through to make sure they completed everything.
The checklist kind of just reinforce the procedure because you might take like a Saturday to run everybody through your procedures, or maybe you're going to train on the first couple of jobs. It kind of depends on your employees, how many people you have, who's new, who's not. But like Scott said, you'll do that overarching system at first, and then you just kind of reinforce it with daily checklists. That's to kind of keep everybody honest and just to make sure everything gets done, because everybody gets tired at the end of the day and forgets things, or like they think somebody else blew off the sidewalk and they think he did it, and everybody's pointing fingers at everybody. So it adds in some accountability and just ensures everything gets done.
Well, just to kind of give you a quick story here, I went to help out another landscape company a while back, and we got to the point of the job, we're putting down mulch. So I'm grabbing a rake and I'm raking out the mulch level. And the owner came up to me. He's like, "Oh, you're doing it wrong." I'm like, "What?
What do you mean I'm doing it wrong? I've been doing this for like 20 years."
Yeah, I put down thousands and thousands of yards of mulch. What do you mean? He's like, "No, I want you literally on your hands and knees and shuffling the mulch around to get it to a consistent level." Okay, that's fine. But the point was, it's not that I didn't know how to do mulch. It's just, it wasn't doing it his way. So doing these procedures, you're teaching these people, whoever it is, your way of doing things. You started your business doing things a certain way. You want to continue that all throughout every single thing you do in your business. And that's where the procedures will create that consistency and accountability.
Mm-hmm.
So remember that sheet. Sorry, change slides. So remember that sheet from the consultant we talked about, the low productivity. Now, he mentioned that our crews took a long time in the morning to get out of the shop because all the jobs at the time had to go through my dad. He used to be the one that would go out and do the estimates, and he would have to tell us every single morning, who's going where, what we needed, what materials we needed, what equipment, and who was going where. Everything had to go through him. So we had to go through him every single morning and ask him what was going on.
Yes, that is a prime example of a very terrible system that doesn't work. I don't even know how we got to that being our system, but we did. I think we just grew and didn't think about it. But if you think about it, that is a horrible system. Having one person to be the information bottleneck in the morning is terrible, because we had a landscaping crew, a hardscape crew, a pond crew, 2 mowing crews. And so
we had 20 some people at the time. And
right.
It was
so
crazy.
When you've got like 5-6 foremen trying to talk to the owner in the morning to find out what we need to do for the day, that is a clustery mess of garbage. But that was our system. So we had a very broken system. So then we fixed it. We came up with a much better morning routine. We had to develop something that worked better for us and for the business, because like we said, that was just, it was literally a chaotic mess. His dad was then getting mad that everyone was like bugging him in the morning when he's trying to return phone calls, but nobody could do anything until they talked to him. Like I said, broken system, don't do it. It's not a good idea.
So what we did, we took what the consultant stated as being part of our problem and really just broke things down. You know, how could we get our people out of the shop faster without forgetting things and without, you know, everything going through my dad? It really started at the top. You know, first off, we had to change how our crew leaders started their morning. In order to make this happen, us, the business owners, had to really change on the information that we gave to our team. We had to basically, we started having weekly meetings where we planned out our jobs for the next week. And we started putting all that on a scheduling job board. On the job board, we had, you know, the crews that were going out, who's going with whatever crew leader, what large piece of equipment, what trucks they're taking. Then we also started creating job folders. Inside these job folders, we had a detailed list of materials that had to be go out, you know, a list of the whole
Production
plan,
hours for the job. So the foreman,
the whole plan, a drawing, driving instructions, everything was inside this folder. So basically, now the crew leader can come in the morning, quickly look at the board, who knew who's going with him, grab that file, is in a cabinet right below the scheduling board, and walk out and give his team going right away. And this just sped up the process, because we went from basically having, when the consultant was there, it was taking us like 45 minutes to get out of the shop in the morning. We're able to cut that down to like 20 minutes, sometimes less than that, because we just had things set up way better.
Well, nobody was standing around waiting for information. Because even if the foreman or crew leader, whatever you want to call them, did have a question that they needed to go to your dad for, they already had enough information to get everybody started. The truck could get loaded, the plants could get on the truck, all of that could be getting done. Nobody's just standing around, you know, sipping coffee, waiting for the information to get to them. So yeah, I mean, 20, you know, cutting 25 minutes off your morning time doesn't seem like a lot, but when you have 20 plus employees over an entire season, that adds up very, very quickly.
Yeah. So I see some people here have some questions. So is this something, let's see, Chris said, is this something that you have on a per day basis where employees check off on it? That way they're responsible for the work. So the checklists are just kind of given out every single day. They know they have to go through a checklist to make sure everything is completed. So like we have an end of the day procedure or a checklist. They know that to go through, like making sure all the tools just picked up, you know, all the driveways are blown off, all the sidewalks blown off, all these types of things, you know, key points. And it's basically on just one sheet of paper. But they have to go through this every single day.
You can keep them in phone or your app.
So like if you use Jobber, for example, Jobber has the capability of putting checklists on there. The crew leader or whoever has access to it can go through. So there's other things you can do, but having these things in place is key, because it's also going to help hold them accountable. Like we said, because if they, you know, forgot, you know, whatever, a compactor or a blower on the job site. Okay, well, who's responsible for this? You know, who checked this off? Okay, you know,
I like the built-in accountability. I'm always big on accountability because everybody likes to point the finger at somebody else, and so the checklist can kind of help that. And not, you know, I don't like accountability, so you can necessarily just be hard and yell on people, but eventually they're going to step it up and realize, oh, okay, hey, they're going to know if I don't do this, and so I'm going to have to do it. And it eventually becomes habit. These can be a little bit. Crews can have resistance at first, but eventually it will just become habit.
Yep. So yes, it's something that they need to be doing every single day. Like I said, the procedure is not going to be, they're not using those out. That's mainly just to train people or using during your training time to make just sure people are doing things, or if you update a procedure, but the checklists are what's getting done every single day out in the field. Sorry, I'm just going through the list here. Yeah, somebody said 20 minutes, 20 guys at 20 minutes is 400 minutes a day. Oh yeah, it adds up.
It adds up,
and that
so
was
fast.
Imagine if it was 45 minutes, how much time we had. That was terrible. So it is crazy. So, all right. I don't know what's going on here. All right, so let's talk about Colby here for a second.
Colby's a guy that we have been helping out here for, he's been a member of our academy for quite a while. He's doing a real good job.
Yeah. He's your typical kind of work in the field kind of guy. However, he knew that if he wanted to grow his business and really provide for his family and be able to offer employment opportunities to people in his area, he needed to figure out how to work on his business. He didn't really have any kind of process in place for working on his business. He was just really just flying by the seat of his pants.
Yeah, we have a lot of people come to us because their business model is currently flying by the seat of their pants. And so,
well, you just do.
I mean, I poke fun, but we did it too. We completely did it. I don't judge. We've been there and done it. So it was just funny that he literally said that. He's like, I'm really just flying by the seat of my pants. So
yeah. So you can see here, one of the things Colby said about it is, the results have been endless so far. I never felt my confidence grow and business knowledge is growing each and every single day. It's because now he's able to take some of these systems that we have, that we had that in our business, and we're now giving it to them in our academy. But basically, he's able to take these things. And I know he's made some of these up himself because he does like concrete curbing too. We didn't have anything. So he's able to take like some templates and use that and now train his people the same way every single time on the job. So now he's getting consistent results every single time for every single customer. And that's the key point with having these system procedures. Now he's also able to hand off his jobs to his people rather than having to be out there all the time, or at least be able to step away part of the time, because his team knows exactly what has to be done next. And it's all because of these systems and procedures he puts in place.
And like Colby mentions in his quote there, the confidence is a key part of that, because nobody likes feeling insecure and like that, just like hurried, like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing, just kind of flying around like a chicken with your head cut off. Having that confidence is really key. And that's made him able to do a lot more in his business as well. Then he started working on numbers and all kinds of other things, but just getting that initial confidence was a real boost.
So Arlington asked, are these standard operating procedures? Yeah, whatever you like to call them.
Yeah.
SOPs, some people call them SOGs. There's a little fine line on those, but procedures is what I call them just in general. So you have your systems, you have your procedures and checklists. Keep it simple, because you start making these things too complicated, nobody's going to be on board.
Nobody's going to do it. So then you're going to like panic and make yourself crazy. Be like, oh, it's too hard. No, thank you.
So no, keep them simple. So basically just start adding these types of things. Just don't overcomplicate these things. Start getting something, writing down a simple procedures, like for doing plants. You can even videotape it now. You don't necessarily have to write it down. If you can videotape a person doing this, that's going to go a long way. Just start doing.
Yeah, you could use that for your training procedure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you have, say you've got somebody who's been with you for a while and knows how to do it. Yeah, have somebody recording, the other person implementing it, and then just have the new people watch the video on how to do it. I like that you say videotape. You're aging us here.
Sorry.
Nobody's using it like a VHS tape here.
Grab your phone and use this. These things take awesome video. That's all we ever use. So we don't really use any other cameras. There's no need to go like get crazy productive on this type of thing. Keep it simple, record it, and, put it in a Google Drive or something like that. And you can start training your people this way every single time when they come on.
Yep.
Send them a link or put it on YouTube. Even you can do that too. So does anybody have any questions on anything? Just for everybody being here today, we're going to share a tool checklist that we have.
Well, and it sounds pretty simple, like, oh, just a checklist of tools. But this was really one of the things that we used to kind of start turning our crap around in the mornings, because at the time we didn't have enclosed trailers. We were still loading and unloading our trucks and our trailers every day. And so a simple checklist that you can just tick off the tools that everybody needs to gather in the morning does wonders, because like we said, the foreman can just come in, give the crew the checklist. So while he's, getting plant material or looking over the job, whatever he's doing, then you can have other people gathering up the tools for the day. So that's kind of how you would use a checklist like that. Well, that's one way you could use it. I'm sure you could use it a million other ways, but that's just one way that we used it to get just the mornings running smoother. This is
honestly one of the first things that we did in our business to really start getting my dad out of there. While we're trying to do all these other writing up these procedures, just having this checklist was, like Katie said, was a huge thing. It was basically a snowball effect. Once I started seeing the results of just doing this simple checklist like we have here with you, it was a life-changing thing, because honestly, it started seeing,
it's that confidence. Once again, you're like, oh, if this little checklist did that, then what if I did this? Then what if I did this?
Yeah, because so
it'll give you a boost.
On this checklist, there's a section for like your address for the customer, phone number, the man hours that you have estimated for this job, because you should be estimating man hours, and just basic information for the crew leader to know. And then just simply check it off. You guys can take this, edit it, make it your own. But
this is one that you as the owner would fill out. Like you'll check off the tools that they need to get for the day. And then they can mark, whether they've got them or not.
All right. So let's see. Steven said, are your system procedures all manual paper checklists, or do you use landscaping software? So everything we have is you can download and do whatever you want. So we have some people that are taking these and putting these on in Jobber, like I said. Some people are using, I forgot, there's a Apple checklist and I'd have to get back to you. I'm sorry, I forgot it was. One of our members is using that, whereas Cruise just uses online app. But you can use paper, whatever you want.
You can use whatever. Yeah, we're old, so we were doing them on paper back in the day. But yeah, you can put them wherever you like to keep them.
Chris said, do you have a business planner to help you with these systems? I'm on a boat where you're talking about by not having a good grip on systems.
We had the business consultant that kind of helped get us started, but then from there, once you know how to do them, you can pretty much just do them yourself, because everyone's business is different. So we provide a lot of systems and procedures to members of our academy, and it's the ones that we used, and they're good like bones. They're a good structure. It's a good place to start, but everybody's business is going to be different. No two businesses are exactly the same. So, but once you get the knack for them and get like the bone, I don't know what else to say, like the bare bones, like how to do it, then you can always just adjust everything and do it however you want for your business. Or like Scott said, just record yourself and there you go.
Yeah. So I challenge everyone, just go out, start making a checklist, get that going and start implementing your business. And I guarantee you'll start seeing results on it. So
yeah, it doesn't have to be hard. You can start small and work from there. So
just so everybody knows, we do have our $1 Million Academy. We are offering a 20% off discount to anybody that's here tonight. So if you're interested, we'll send you a link. I forgot to put the slide up for this, so I do apologize. But it's $1milliondollarlandscaper.com/academy. And if you enter in the coupon code CYCLE, you'll get the 20% off any of our memberships.
Yeah, we'd be happy to work with you more, get you going. We've got tons of courses in there on it, and there's Facebook group available for questions and all that kind of stuff, so you can be in contact with us. You're never alone in all this, I guess. Basically, that's why we have this in academy form, so you actually do take action and do it, because you can buy a course then like forget about it, but no, with this you've got that additional support that for anything you need. So,
and if there's any information or anybody has any questions about that, let us know. We'll talk about it after the thing.
Absolutely.
Brian asked if there's a Spanish version of the program. No, not yet. We've talked about that.
That is on our goal. That is on our list. Yes.
There will be at some point. Yes. I mean, we do have some documents in there that are translated in Spanish.
Some of the documents,
like our job applications, are both Spanish and English, but
the courses are not.
Yeah, we'll be working on those. All right, Carla, thank you for letting us be part of this. We appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll hang out unless there's for questions at the end and everything too.
Yeah, no problem. Well, thank you guys for that. I think, operations and the systems and procedures you have in place in your landscape business is just so important. It helps you scale your business and grow to that, number where you're comfortable with your revenue size and you're comfortable taking a salary, right? But that all starts with your system. So I think that was great. Thank you for that presentation. And now I'm going to talk about other systems.
Well, they've got to have enough money so they can afford to have you help them, with your accounting system. If you're going to have accounting, you've got to have some money in there.
So that takes me on to your accounting systems, right? And whether you're just starting your business or you've been in business for a few years, you'll need your accounting system in place to track your numbers and be able to see, how your company is doing. And there's different ways to go about that. So I'm going to give a bird's eye view of what your accounting system should look like, and then steps that you can take to get it to where you need it to be, right? So let's talk about our friends over at the IRS. They want you to track your receipts, right? In case you have an audit, not for like bookkeeping or accounting or CPA purposes. Really, it's really in case you get into an audit, and you'll save those receipts for 7 years. Now you can keep paper version of these receipts, or the IRS accepts now digitized. So you can use Receipt Bank, your phone, or any, if you use QuickBooks Online, you could take a snapshot of your receipt and upload it to QuickBooks Online. That way you have a digitized form of your receipt as well. So each piece of the accounting system should tie in together, and we'll really get more into that as we progress here. Different tools and apps may fit your process. So depending on how we all, you guys all have landscaping businesses, but it's all of your businesses are unique. So maybe different apps and tools fit your business, right? And then you want something that supports, if you're planning to grow, you want something that supports that. So if you're going to have an accounting system like QuickBooks Online, it's great because you may start off with the self-employed version of it, and you may want to go into the essentials and then the plus and advanced version of that. So something to think about when choosing your accounting system, whether it's QuickBooks, Xero, and so on. So to get your accounting all started, it is important to open a business bank account, right? And you should consider opening different business bank accounts for different expenses that you're going to incur throughout your business just to get yourself organized. So a payroll account is always nice, savings account for year-end taxes, operating expenses, and then a savings account for your sales tax. If you are subject to that in your state. So always, always, always separate your business from your personal expenses. It just gets messy when you commingle. It'll take more time and effort to decipher what is business from personal if you have that all mixed in there. And, you know, in case of an audit, again, it'll just be more work on your or your accountant's table there. You need to decide what your legal structure will be. How will you be taxed as? Will you be taxed as a sole prop, partnership, or corporation, or S corp? And I go more into the advantages and disadvantages of these tax entities in a YouTube video that I have over there under Cycle CPA on YouTube. So if you guys want to go and watch that, but you'll have to make that conclusion for your business, because depending on your entity structure, your bookkeeping will be a little bit different on that end as well. And, you know, obviously the way you get taxed, right? So which accounting software should you choose, right? So I recommend going cloud-based because that's really where society is moving to. We're moving to cloud-based, and more of the CRMs that landscapers are using, like LMN, Jobber, and stuff like that, they're upgrading their systems to really sync better with the online version of QuickBooks. You know, so some benefits of QuickBooks Online is that you don't need to back up your data. QuickBooks uses the same servers that back up the US government, so you're pretty covered on that end there. You can link your business bank accounts to QuickBooks Online to eliminate a lot of data entry. So when you sign up for QuickBooks, you'll link your bank accounts. And what that does is when you link your bank accounts to QuickBooks, QuickBooks will automatically pull your transactions from your bank account. So if yesterday you went to Home Depot, Lowe's, or Site One Landscape, it'll pull all of those transactions for you onto your accounting system. And so that eliminates data entry on your end, right? And it's great for landscapers because QuickBooks Online works on your computer, tablet, or smartphone. Since you're on the go, you're in the field, you need something that moves with you, right? So QuickBooks continues to dominate the green industry market, with 74% of respondents indicating that it's their accounting software platform. So a lot of landscapers using that as their accounting software. And again, like I said, there's a lot of CRMs in the market, such as LMN and Jobber, that do sync with QuickBooks Online. So that's great. So you have your accounting software, you chose your accounting software, you opened your business bank account, you have your business incorporated and all of that good stuff. So now you're going to set up your chart of accounts inside of your accounting software, whatever that was, right? A chart of accounts is a list of accounts that you have set up in your bookkeeping system to keep track of all of your financial activities. So this chart is really the skeletal structure that holds your entire bookkeeping system together. Each account should have a type, so asset, liability, expense, and so on, a description, and a number. I'll show you an example here. So you see some here on, turn this on the left-hand side. So we have your assets here, your mowers, bobcats, trailers, your vehicles, and then the numbering here. And then your liabilities, sales tax liabilities, you have your equity accounts, you have your income accounts based on the services that you're providing. So maybe you're providing maintenance, arbor, snow and ice, and then your cost of sales, that is your direct cost. So payroll, field labor, taxes, workers' comp, fuel, job site materials. And then over here, you have your just overhead expenses, which entail your advertising, marketing, bank charges, all of the other items that is not included in your direct costs, which are here. So you set that up in your accounting system, and this really paves the way to how you're going to categorize your expenses in your landscape business. That way you can form the end goal, which is financial statements, right? So you can take a look at how your company is performing. Great. So now you're ready to do your bookkeeping. So you're going to record your transactions, like I said. You're going to sync your accounting software to your business bank accounts. The transactions will be automatically pulled in. And a great tip here is that in QuickBooks Online, you can set rules. So for example, you say, okay, every time that I go to Home Depot, please put it in the job site materials category, and so on. So it eliminates even that part, the categorizing part. So it's very easy. You're going to post all of your assets, like we said, your mowers, trucks, or trailers, your loans for those assets. You're going to post it on there. It's so important to post your loans. I see a lot of clients come in and they don't have their loans, and therefore what's going on is that they don't have their interest expense on their profit and loss statement, and they're losing out on that tax deduction, right? So we definitely want our loans on there. And then your depreciation, whether that's book or tax depreciation, on there at the end of the year. So you have done your bookkeeping. Now it's time to reconcile your books. And it's great having your accounting software automatically import your transactions, and you're categorizing that. That's great. And technology is great until it just doesn't work. That's why reconciling your books is so important. Whether I know I see some companies do it once a week or once every other week. At a minimal, you should be doing it once a month. So you'll have your month-end statement, and there's a function that you can do on your accounting system. You'll hit reconcile, and what that does is you're looking at your transactions on your accounting system, and you're making sure that that mirrors what actually happened in your bank account. Like I said, we can't rely too much on technology. That way we know that we're not missing transactions. We're not duplicating transactions, because I've seen that, because that can lead to overstatement of revenue. And you don't want that. You don't want to pay taxes on income that you really never received, or understating expenses or overstating expenses. That's going to skew your books. So it's very important to reconcile your books every single month. So payroll, it's important to distinguish between W-2 employee versus subcontractors. And this may vary from state to state, but really what is going on is that your subcontractors are contractors that, for example, you don't have to have a lot of control over them. They schedule their day, they use their own equipment and machinery, and they get full reign over how that job gets done. That's a really broad, definition, but a W-2 employee is someone that reports to you. You set up their schedule, they use your machinery and equipment, and so on. You will distinguish between whether you have a W-2 employee on your hands or a subcontractor, and then you'll set up, you'll get in touch with a payroll provider such as ADP or Gusto to set that up, right? With that comes having to pay payroll tax. That's why opening that extra bank account really comes into play, to get yourself organized and know that you have to have a certain amount of money every single week for those payroll expenses. So you're going to set up your workers' compensation insurance. A lot of the business owners that I work with, they use pay-as-you-go workers' comp. So with pay-as-you-go, it's really nice because, for example, if this month you have $10,000 worth of payroll, then with workers' comp is going to increase along with that. But then next month, if you only have $5,000 worth of payroll, then your workers' comp is going to decrease. The expense is going to decrease along with that. If you just have regular workers' compensation insurance, you're going to pay a fixed dollar amount every single month. But with the seasonal business that could be in this industry, it's really nice to have pay-as-you-go for cash flow purposes as well. And then we partner with Gusto, where a lot of our clients, they run payroll, use them as a payroll provider. They'll pay your payroll taxes and issue the W-2s and 1099s for your subcontractors. And what happens is with most payroll providers that you have, whether it's ADP or Gusto or any other payroll provider, you can link your payroll account to your payroll transactions to your accounting software, to QuickBooks Online. So that way, you know that you have your payroll expenses, payroll taxes, and all of that posted on your books correctly. So that's nice. Okay, so accounts receivable. So these accounts receivable is the balance of money due to your company from your clients, right? Some of the best practices when managing accounts receivable is to pull an AR aging summary report at the end of every week, because then you'll become familiar with the balances of each client that owes you money. And what happens is, if you don't, have this procedure in place of pulling the AR aging report every week, then what happens is things can slip through the cracks. Your balances with your clients could be off. That way, if you see something, actually Bob actually did pay me, he doesn't owe me this $2,000, you'll be able to catch it on the spot before, things get out of hand. You can also send invoice reminders, and when invoicing your clients, please establish your payment terms, whether that's net 30 or 15. And, now you have sent out your invoice, right? But then you have to receive your payment from that invoice and clear your invoices as you receive your check. So you received a check in the mail for that invoice, hit receive payment on QuickBooks. And then this last step, a lot of people miss this last step. So pay close attention. Match your payments that you've received to the deposits that are coming through into the bank. So as the deposits clear your account, that must be matched to the payments that you said you received from the invoice, right? What happens when you don't follow this whole procedure, you can have under or overstated income. And this happened with one of our clients. He had overstated income of $100,000 last year. So he was going to pay taxes on that. He was under the impression that he made a certain amount of money, but he didn't. And he was going to pay taxes on it, but we got his books cleaned up, and now we're at the right revenue amount. And it's because this procedure wasn't followed and things weren't cleaned up like they needed to be. So that's very important to follow if you're using QuickBooks Online. And just a quick tip for the invoicing if people are falling behind on their invoices and not paying you, you can make a rule on QuickBooks to charge them a late fee, and that can be based upon like a flat fee or a percentage of the remaining balance here. You can see that on the right-hand corner. It's an example. Accounts payable. So this is money that you owe to your vendors or creditors. You can utilize your accounting software to track your bills, track your bill payments and credits to those vendors. Again, pull in AP and accounts payable aging report every week to ensure those balances are correct so nothing slips through the crack. And reconcile your bill payments as they are drafted from your bank account. So same kind of methodology here as accounts receivable. And then if you don't do that, again, you can have over or understated expenses on that end. Great. So you have, you're doing your bookkeeping, but you also want to keep track of your expenses on a per job basis, right? That's maybe something that you want to look into. So tracking, what do we need to track? We need to track per job. We need to track the materials, labor, and overhead. So your materials, you can track the old school way. You can hand out a piece of paper to your crew, have them write down, okay, this is the materials I have spent for these clients every week, or you can track them on a CRM like Jobber, LMN, have your team take pictures of their receipts, clock in and out of jobs. Again, CRM or a piece of paper, that's how you can track that. Your overhead will be tracked by your accounting system. You're going to collect that data from your employees, which could be the hardest part there. It's keeping them accountable to relay that data back to you. And then you can create your job cost report. So down here, this is an example of those transactions that I was mentioning before that get pulled into QuickBooks Online, right? So here's an example of a transaction. You're going to categorize it. On May 13th, we went to Harbor Freight Tools and we spent $393.16. Right? What is the vendor's name? Harbor Freight Tools. What category do I want to put it under? Supplies and materials. And then this is an important part. You can allocate it to a certain customer or project in QuickBooks. So then you would click this drop down and you would select your customer or the project that you wanted this expense to be allocated to. So you can then create your job cost report. Now, let's say you say, oh, Carla, but I only spent, $100 for Mrs. Smith and the $293.16 for Mr. Jones. That's fine. In my screenshot right here, I can't show it, but there's a split option. It's called split. And you can split the amount and you can track it. You can split it so that you can track it for both of those clients, right? So it's nice. So instead of just, when you're doing your bookkeeping, instead of just putting it to a vendor and then category and then that's it, right? You can take the extra step to do this. That way you can create your job cost report. Obviously, this would only take care of materials, right? But then you would want to allocate your labor, and your overhead percentage based upon what methodology you want to track that with, right? Awesome. So financial reports. This is the major reason why you want to create your accounting system, because you want to create your financial reports. You want to create your profit and loss, your balance sheet, and your cash flow statement at least once a month. After you do your bookkeeping and your reconciliation, you'll have these financial reports that you can rely on. They're accurate because you did your reconciliation, And if you allocate it to a customer or a project, you have your job cost report, which is amazing. Again, junk in, junk out here. If you're putting junk into your accounting system, that's what you're going to get coming out of that. You're not going to get your accurate numbers. You're not going to be able to use it. You're not going to have a real picture of what's going on in your business. Are you profitable? Are you not profitable on this job, or just in your business as a whole, right? And doing this, it's going to be a seamless transition into tax season, which is dreaded. But if you have your accounting and bookkeeping system in place, it'll make it so easy for you to file your year-end taxes and your sales taxes and all of that good stuff, right? And something that I do want to mention is another report or another item that we do for our clients is we create a cash flow forecast for them, which is in addition to their financial reports. And what that does is we forecast their revenues for the next 6 to 12 months. We forecast their direct costs, which is your payroll, your job site materials, all of that good stuff, and your overhead costs for the next 6 to 12 months. And what we do with them is we go over and see, oh, okay, it looks like in November we're we're not generating as much revenue as we would like. It looks like we're not going to have enough money in the bank to cover our payroll costs. What can we do now? Okay, let's ramp up the advertising for fall cleanup. So that way we have that peace of mind that we're able to cover those costs in November. Or we create scenarios for our clients. So for example, if someone tells me, okay, I'm looking to purchase a truck in August, I'm going to put $10,000 down. How does that look like in August? And I will say something like, okay, yeah, that's the right move. Or no, let's actually do this in July. It's a better month. Or let's wait till September. And it's great for someone who is trying to grow, someone who is trying to really get an in-depth look at what their revenues and expenses will look like in the future, right? Because we want to plan now for what that's going to look like. So you can create a cash flow forecast using the Float app as well. It's a third-party app that you can use for that. And that syncs with your QuickBooks Online account too. Also with QuickBooks Online, you're able to export any report on there to Excel and, plug in any formulas that you need for any metrics that you're looking to track. So you have done your bookkeeping, you have your financial reports, you're all ready to go for your year-end tax applications. So you have your initial tax filing for some of the states, your year-end tax filing, and your sales tax filing. Awesome. So that's all I had for the slides, but just wanted to mention that we have a spring rush offer. And if you sign up before May 31st, you'll get the first 2 months of bookkeeping free. That's our offer that's going on now. So take advantage of that if needed. But yeah, I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. And thank you, Scott and Katie, for joining me on this webinar. And I guess we can answer some questions.
Yep. Thanks again, Carla. We greatly appreciate it. Just want to make a quick note. I did mess up. I did give the wrong URL to our thing. It's actually milliondollarlandscaper.com/cycle CPA. And then cycle CPA is also the coupon code to get the 20% off. So I corrected in the link below, but I didn't mistake that.
Yeah, no, and people are silly if they don't take advantage of your offer.
Yeah.
We lived the life of having a bad accountant, and it was horrible and it was awful. And I'm like, you're listing off all the stuff that you do. And even just that, like, cash flow forecasting is amazing because our accountant didn't do that for us. And it was bullshit, garbage. And so the fact that you do that is amazing because that can help your decision making so much. So anyway, just from people who have lived through bad accountants, get a good one.
Awesome. Thank you. No, I appreciate that. let's see if I have some questions here.
Yeah,
Okay, so someone says, I'm not sure if he's still taking questions, but is it a good idea to have an accounting software and a software like Yardbook or Jobber? I really like that question, Chris. So what happens is that, yes, you can have a CRM like Jobber or Yardbook where you're going to mainly use that for creating estimates, sending invoices, maybe your clients pay you through there, maybe you're scheduling out your jobs, right? But that does not replace the need for your accounting software, because your accounting is keeping track of your expenses, your assets, your liabilities, and so on. So what I recommend is having a CRM like Jobber or LMN or any of those other softwares that actually sync with QuickBooks Online, but sync well, because there's some that say they sing, but it's not that good. But I mean, definitely do your research on that, and I definitely do recommend either Element or Jobber. They, in my experience, sync very well with QuickBooks Online. So one doesn't replace the other. It's important to have both.
Chris asked a while back, says probably a long question, but what's the best software you think? I'm not sure what you're referring to.
Yeah, well, accounting software or CRM. She's covered that a little bit.
Yeah, the QuickBooks Online.
Yeah.
Awesome. So let's see here. Yep, and then a lot of people are asking, will this be available? So yeah, we're going to send out a replay of this webinar after it is over for everybody who signed up today.
Brian asked Carla, do you also train us on QuickBooks with your services?
Oh, great question. So not, I don't currently train like on QuickBooks, like as a training course, no, but we do train, like, for example, in a sense where maybe you're having a hard time using like the invoicing function on QuickBooks, and you're doing it as a business owner or you're a receptionist, or you're having trouble with that. We do, that's part of our service, our bookkeeping service, like, but not like a formal training. No, not yet. Awesome. So, all right. I think we answered everything here, unless you, Scott or Katie, have anything else on here.
No, I don't see anything. I just kind of go back. I know somebody said something before when we were talking about having a hard time getting your team on board with the using systems and procedures. It's not going to be something that's going to happen overnight, trust us. But you do need to tell your team, you need to find the win in it. What's going to make it better for them? How is it going to be easier for them? You always need to find whatever the win is for them. It's going to be easier for them on the jobs. They know what's going to happen. It's going to be a lot less stressful. If the companies make more money, then we can pass the money, give you more bonuses or more raises or whatever it is. You always need to find the win into that for them. And that's going to help get your team on board. I also recommend, for like a simple procedure like planning a plant, have somebody that's out there on the crew record it while the other person's doing it. Let them do that kind of work for you. There's no need for you to go out and teach, unless you're only two-man team or something. But if you have a team out there, let them record the video on how to do it. Let them teach it. It gets them on board, gets them excited about it. And then it makes it easier to get everybody on the same page. So that's just one thing I would say.
Yeah, I think that's such a great idea. Like having a video of every little thing you do within your business, and then having that stored somewhere. And then when somebody, new comes on board, and then they just watch all of those videos, and they're able to take in all that information without wasting somebody else's time or anything like that. I think that's such a great point, Scott.
And this could actually go to for like even the invoicing part of it. So if you've been doing the invoicing and you're getting to the point you need to hire a bookkeeper or a secretary, whatever you want,
Right.
you can have them watch these videos on how to enter the invoice. So if they've never used it, you can teach them that way too. So it works very well.
Yeah, with everything. Yeah. Exactly. Awesome. Well, great stuff here. Thank you again. If anybody wants to reach out to me here, you can join our Facebook group, Landscaping Accountant, or email me at carlap@cyclecpa.com. It was so nice to be here with all of you, and thank you for joining tonight. All right.
Thank you, guys. We appreciate it. Have a great night.
You too.
Have a great night.
Bye.